I am an African. I owe my being to the hills and the valleys, the mountains and the glades, the rivers, the deserts, the trees, the flowers, the seas, and the ever-changing seasons that define the face of our native land. My body has frozen in our frosts and in our latter-day snows. It has thawed in the warmth of our sunshine and melted in the heat of the midday sun. The crack and the rumble of the summer thunders, lashed by startling lightning, have been a cause both of trembling and of hope. The fragrances of nature have been as pleasant to us as the sight of the wild blooms of the citizens of the veldt, the dramatic shapes of the dragon's back, the soil-colored waters of the epically.
This was taken when we were celebrating the birthday of the ANC. When the ANC was celebrating 103 years since it was born. I had to give a history of this country, and the history is history. History has chapters, painful chapters, wonderful chapters, but it is history. When I said, when Jan van Riebeeck landed in the Western Cape, our problems began. Is a historic fact. Now, I always avoid giving the details of the history. Well, it's not necessary. When he landed, there were residents here, in this very city, who were established here. The Khoisan son. They were living here, and they welcomed him warmly. And he established himself. They were together. Somewhere, somehow, a tension began. And there were wars that were fought. They were removed here forcefully from their area. Removed. And some of them went deep into the country, north, south, east. And the wars began because after the population arriving in South Africa grew. It is written down, it's not me concocting it. There were 8 major wars that were fought in the Eastern Cape. I didn't write that. We are not counting other small wars. 8 major wars. There was a great trek from here when there was a quarrel between the Afrikaners and the British. As a history of this country, there was an establishment of 4 republics, 2 belonging to the British, 2 belonging to the Afrikaners. When all of this was done, the blacks were not consulted, even the establishment of the republics. The clash between the Afrikaners and the British continued. There is no part of the country that there were no clashes. With the British, with the Afrikaners. Some are big and known, some are not known. The Zulus fought the British, and the major one was at Isandlwana. The Afrikaners fought the Zulus, and Ngome, what you call the Brald River. And the British, the Afrikaners discovered, as they call it, they discovered, they actually came across mineral resources. And the British heard this, and they vowed to defeat the Afrikaners. And there was an Anglo-Boer war. That's a history of this country. Very bitter war. We all participated on either side. Only now, when we are correcting history, we are calling it a South African war because we all died in that war. At the end of that war, the English-speaking and the Afrikaners met to negotiate and agreed the four republics should be combined, and took very important decisions. Where will the parliament be as part of compromises? It will be in Cape Town. Where will the administrative city, Pretoria? Where will be the judiciary? Orange Free State in Bloemfontein. And one of the decisions when these two met was that you will have, therefore, a union of South Africa, the government, which will be elected at all times, but the black people would not participate in that process. It was that decision. It was that decision that made the black people to make a call to meet in Mangaung in Bloemfontein to discuss what we called the national calamity, that the indigenous people are not to be part of governing this country. Very bad decision on an important decision of uniting the four republics. It was that time that we said we are going to fight to liberate ourselves, to be part of government, to participate. You must know, because it was, this country was still under British colonialism fully. There were delegations that went to England to raise the matters. We did not want to fight. We wanted to be part of the process to govern this country. This now are the activities many years after the landing of Jan van Riebeeck. Who opened the way for them to be here. They started fighting here, Eastern Cape, Free State, everywhere. There were wars. And again, after many years, we said, but what type of a country do we want? Because we must be clear, if we say we want a non-racial South Africa, what are we talking about? That's why the meeting in 1955, wherein everyone in this South Africa, including government, was invited to say what type of a country do we want. And that's why the Freedom Charter is important, because that's when we molded this country we have today, a democratic, prosperous country. Important in that gathering is a preamble of the Freedom Charter, That is the basic policy of the ruling party, where we said, we the people of South Africa declare for all to know that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white.
Today's the 8th of January 2019. My name is Lebohang Kasipo, Gordon Kalipeka Penelope Abigail Jojo. I'm working on a paper for UNESCO's International Year of Indigenous Languages titled The Lost People and the Forgotten Language. In preparation for this paper, I am realizing how deep the narrative goes, especially focusing my paper on the cannibalistic lingua of around the area of Ntunjambili. That is where my research focuses itself, centralizes itself. The whole thing is that there lived people in those mountains, and these people sometimes ate people. They probably ate each other. Legend has it that people become lured into the mountain and never quite come back out. This is an expedition where we're going in with the intention of coming out to tell the story of what we found on the inn. Now, with the inn, we've seen enough. Shit, we need to make peace. Let's have a conversation with Greg. Cool. Greg, my brother, can I tell you the truth? I'm making... Hi, he's on the phone right now. See, that's our entire conversation. This is a face record, video log. This is a vlog on what we are doing, and I was just about to explain to our audience over here that before I leave, I was going off with Katleho and Greg, first to Credo Mutwa and latterly to Ntunjambili to open the mountain with Linde. And you know, most expeditions like this, we've seen the movies, King. We've seen the literature. We've seen the shit that has to do with what we are doing. We can wind up in a parallel universe. And we just don't know. We are, however, going with the intention of coming back, all of us. Every single last one of us who goes is coming back to their mamas. These are just the things we have to say out loud, because as merciful and as great and as compassionate as God is, we know that God has been so it's vital that we go to this mountain with the poem, which is in the article. Fun fact, I have the full version of the poem, but some of it is in the article which was sent to Greg today. It's on News 24 from the Greytown Gazette. Place of legend has become a dump site, is what it's called. So the song, the prayer must be at the full moon, and we're going to, just so that we can enter and also come back out. Or at least see the opening, mark it for broad daylight, leave a trail to the opening so that we can holler at it in broad daylight. You see, we're not white people. King, we're not white people, yeah? No heroics. So, yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Let me go back to what I was doing before I had to make this. Please make these on your end to record the experience, or make a video where you're just sitting playing this voice note that you're hearing and reacting to it. Let's start gathering this content, you know, because we can wind up on Mars, King. For all we know, we found the doorway to Mars and we just don't know these things. So let's go in knowing that we're coming out preparing for how changed we will be when we come out. Like, I can laugh, but I'm shit scared because reality is we can wind up in a portal. This could be a Stargate. We've seen and we're watching the same stuff, and the theory is that the stuff that we see on media, the media that we engage with, the shows that we enjoy, are the subconscious collective consciousness communicating with us. And I've been watching stuff like The Gifted, Counterparts, Two World shit. Worlds where people come out with superpowers, and I've already seen my own magic. We just don't know. So the human in Krishna eye is saying we're going in prepared. Yeah? Hare Krishna. Yeah? Yeah.